Ah, geez, pal. Is there something bothering you? You've got quite a long face.
Well, Peter Griffin, I've been in a creative slump and I just can't get out of it. Every idea I have just sucks fat balls.
Ah, geez, I know that feeling. But you know what helps me escape the rut? I try to look around and see if anything inspires me.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's how I get my best ideas. Take these carrots for example. They remind me of a particular video game series. Ever heard of Pikmin?
Pikmin? But what if I'm into women?
Yeah. Classic Pikmin joke.
Yep, that's how you know I'm a fan.
So anyway, when I looked at the carrots, I got mighty hungry, and that led me to a crazy good idea that I'm gonna publish sometime this week. You know the Bulborbs?
Yeah?
Well, I've always thought they were the strongest in Pikmin 1. With the way the series evolved its gameplay mechanics by each game, I thought it was a great idea.
You know, that is pretty great. Say, Peter, why don't you tell me some more about this idea?
Oh, sure. Gee, where do I begin?
Come on!
Rico, I have answered the phone.
Hackney, I finally got one!
You finally got a schizo-red idea? It's been
12 months.
Hurrah!
Quickly, meet me at launch point. We're heading to Dream's End for this shit. Let's fucking do this!
Fuck yeah, brother! Okay, Clash, I gotta go. Do your homework. Okay, bye. I love yous.
Bulborbs, everyone's favorite creature. Bulborbs to Olimar are essentially what Goombas are to Mario. Well, I guess only on the surface level, because one can be defeated in a single jump, whereas the other one needs a whole ass army to take it down. But you get what I'm saying, right? These fuckers are the most basic and common enemy encounter you'll find in the entire Pikmin series, serving as a tutorial for combat. I think it wise we do a little analysis on how the Bulborbs function on a basic level before we analyze them from game to game. How does that sound, Hackney?
I'll go hunt us some Bulborbs.
Nice.
You know that's not good for you, right? It'll slowly destroy your bladder over time. There are healthier alternatives.
Can you, shut up? Bulborbs are big, bulky, and fucking scary. I mean, just look at them. Bulborbs are always asleep when you encounter them during the day. Too much staying up playing Fortnite Simpsons Royale will do that to you.
Boomer is hitting the gritty.
Theoretically, you could avoid them all and prevent possible Pikmin deaths, but these fat fucks just so happen to be in the way of most of the carrying routes of your main collectible, meaning those pickwits are going to waltz right into their laps and basically ask to be feasted on. What are they, stupid? Attacking these guys safely requires a good bulk of your squad if you want to take them down without casualties. Or you could just run up to them as Olimar and beat the shit out of them until they die like I did when I was 8 years old. But I understand that's not everyone's idea of fun. So instead, you've got a couple of different attack methods. You can sneak up from behind and swarm your whole squad onto the Bulborb's butt, which by the way will land yourself in Pick Jail for very obvious reasons. Or alternatively, you could throw your Pikmin one by one onto the Bulborb's body, gradually building up damage output. Both have their pros and cons. A swarm could wipe him out before he has enough time to wake up, but if you're just shy of killing them in time, the big guy will shake everyone off, leaving the Pikmin stunned until you whistle them back up onto their feet. And throwing requires you to be able to aim precisely and maneuver your squad safely at the same time. This guy will not stop eating, by the way. He has never heard of the concept of a serving size, and will just eat your whole squad if you let him. He takes big bites into the Pikmin to get as many into his mouth at once, and usually takes a couple of seconds to kill them completely. If he misses though, he will trip over for a moment until he gets up and tries again. I gotta admire the confidence in him, because if my goofy ass tripped mid-battle, I would just forfeit right there on the spot. How embarrassing. Every Pikmin enemy ever is like this when you boil it down to their basic functions. It's always a case of on-the-fly micro-decisions that you have to make when battling these guys. Okay, we got the fundamentals of how Bulborbs work in Pikmin, so let's look at them from game to game, starting with Pikmin 1, because it would be weird if I started with any other game first.
Coming in hot.
We talked a lot about how the Bulborbs functioned, but we never once talked about the fuckers that take on the Bulborbs and how they work. the Pikmin. The first game is pretty simple to talk about though, with only 3 types of Pikmin. Fun fact, this was actually the first Pikmin game to introduce the 3 Pikmin type limit, but Shiggy Miggy forgot to add the other 13 Pikmin types he had planned, so most players didn't even realize this shit mechanic was introduced in the first game. You're almost always going to want to fight the Bulborbs with Reds, since they are the strongest with their 1.25 times damage output. But that doesn't mean it's a guaranteed win against him. You'd have to have at least like 60 Reds in your squad to one-cycle him, which you won't have if you've got your Pikmin split up across the map, Dandorying the fuck out of the Forest of Hope. So you still need to play it careful, and get ready to whistle and retreat if the going gets tough. Another quirk that is very unique to Pikmin 1 is the hilarious Pikmin AI. This shit got me ruffling. The Pikmin AI is a very important factor in this game, because they are fucking idiots, which makes the Bulborb very happy. No sane person is going to agree with me on this, but I actually miss the amount of tripping or strain from the pack the Pikmin in the first game would do. It really did make them seem more like wild creatures you were desperately trying to tame and keep alive, whereas by the time we get to Pikmin 4, they seem more like trained ammunition and capable of making mistakes. Unique to the GameCube era is how sluggish they move if they are not flowered up. Even in your moments of calculated retreat, the Bulborb can snag a few leaves at the back of your squad simply because they are just too slow. You snooze, you lose. Even if every Pikmin you've got carrying the ship part is flowered up, it's not a guarantee escape. Not to mention, the little dwarf Bulborb fucks hanging around them will scream mama to wake up the grown-up and alert it to your Pikmin. You must be so fun at parties. It gets worse when you find out this isn't even the fucking child of the Bulborb, but it's just a part of the breadbug family pretending to be a Bulborb and narking on any Pikmin nearby it can see. I guess this shit wouldn't be too bad if there were any other carrying routes that you could take. But Pikmin 1 is funny in the sense that what you see is just a mirage orchestrated by Miyamoto himself. There are a weird amount of carrying routes where it feels like blue Pikmin would be able to waltz on through the water and around danger, but instead, they choose to walk the way of the Reds, which is the total opposite of what you want. So your only other option to circumvent the Bulborbs when the Pikmin are carrying stuff back to base is to use Olimar as a bait and distract him away from them. It's not a bad strategy, but it is time consuming to waste your only captain as a bait in the Pikmin game where time is your most important resource to manage. But there is one other method of attack, and only one other method of attack in Pikmin 1. Bomb rocks carried by yellow Pikmin. The bomb rock is super cool because it has one profound pro. It blows up, and that shit rocks. But it also comes with a fat list of cons. The biggest hurdle with bomb rocks is that it requires a yellow Pikmin to activate it, which, as we've discussed, is asking a lot from Pikmin 1 AI. The mechanics of bomb rocks are different from the GameCube and Wii releases. I would have loved to have grown up with the GameCube version where you could just whistle the yellow Pikmin to activate the bomb, but no! In my Wii childhood, you had to cross your fingers and hope that the yellow Pikmin would punt the bomb rock correctly at the Bulborb. It was never a guarantee, a complete gamble if it would work. Unrelated, I started purchasing lottery tickets at this time in my life. I wish I could find out what the correlation was. Oh, don't get me started on if a Pikmin trips after running back from the active bomb rock. I don't feel bad. That's on you, buddy. In this entry, the Bulborb couldn't give 2 fucks about the ticking time bomb next to him. He has no visceral reaction to it, and will hunt down that Pikmin, meaning that it could potentially lead away from the explosion and waste it. Even if the stars align and the bomb rock does hit, it's only a half health blow, meaning you need 2 bomb rocks to take down a Bulborb in small groups, not just one. And that is asking a lot of the player, intentionally done of course, because bomb rocks are a rare finite material that spawn each day. So if you choose to use a couple bombs on a Bulborb, and likely a couple extra because it's not a guaranteed hit, there goes your opportunity to use them to break down stone walls for progression or shortcuts that day. You literally stonewall yourself.
Brother, this guy stinks!
Studying Pikmin 2 Bulborb interactions is interesting, because it's the only direct sequel in the series, so you would think a fair amount of Pikmin 1's analysis would be applied here, but strangely no. Pikmin AI has improved a lot this time. Red Pikmin are no longer the strongest option for dealing with Bulborbs. Dwarf Bulborbs finally realised that tattletaling all the time doesn't get you far in life. And bomb rocks are no longer a weapon that can be carried by the Pikmin. There's a lot of smaller changes that do reshape the strength of Bulborbs in this game. Shigeru finally got around to adding some of those Pikmin types he forgot to last time. The purples and the whites. And Jesus Christ, these guys are a massive blow to the Bulborb status in this game. How the mighty have fallen. Obviously, purples fuck. They just fuck. And there's no getting around that. You could beat these bad guys with relative ease and only a group of 5 purples with how obnoxiously strong that stun is. It's borderline an instant win button, but the only thing stopping it from being that is purples are a rare type that have no extra elemental attributes and are really slow. Their only upside is having the carry strength of 10 Pikmin, but they are really slow. White Pikmin bring down the Bulborb's reputation in a less obvious way. Of course, whites do have the ability to poison and insta-kill the Bulborbs when eaten. All it takes is one. But again, they're a rare and hard to reproduce Pikmin type, so it's a last resort option in the heat of battle. Instead, whites have their crazy quick speed that no other Pikmin has, which carries over into carrying objects. This is one of those pick-isms that never really made sense to me because the whites are so small that I assumed that would translate into them being weaker at carrying stuff. But no, they just blitz through shit like no tomorrow. So before, you had a risk of your Pikmin not being able to outrun a Bulborb while carrying back to base. But if you just put only whites on your task, there is no way a Bulborb is catching up to them. I mean, not unless it's Usain Bulb, the quickest Bulborb in the West, but the chances of that are very, very low. But never zero. You can't really talk about Bulborbs without also talking about caves. In the overworld, it is relatively easy to be able to get by the Bulborbs without having to kill them with how open the maps are. But the closed-in nature of the caves and their narrow winding paths end up making the Bulborbs a much larger threat. Your options of zipping by them are null and void when their fat asses end up taking up the whole fucking cave. Move! Move, god damn it! While the caves being cramped works in favour for the Bulborbs, it is important to note the other options of taking them down, like the classic strat of baiting them, but this time into hazards that can kill them, like falling rocks or scattered bomb rocks, or leading them into the path of a cannon beetle, or how about just walking them off the fucking ledge, or even getting Louis to just sit there looking busy as a distraction for the carrying squad to squeeze on past. I feel bad for the Bulborbs because Pikmin 2 also introduces other power-ups to your party that they just cannot keep up with. Unload an ultra spicy spray and transform your Pikmin into a bunch of crackheads, and a group of 20 blues will be able to absolutely run the fuck shit out of. There's also the bitter spray, which just. Yeah, that. And then there's the other captain upgrades, mainly the rocket punch. That thing I used to do as a kid with Olimar is now an actual decent strategy. You can lead the Bulborbs over to a wall and hit them with your best shots over and over, letting your Pikmin have a rest, while not having to worry one iota about wasting time, since time doesn't pass in caves. You've got free reign to fuck around with the Bulborbs to your heart's content. It's just at the cost of your Dandori status, which all depends on how much you care about that. We've entered a new era of Pikmin, finally jumping a console generation from the GameCube to the Nintendo Wii U. Apparently, Miyamoto hit a creative slump when he was told his original Pikmin ideas were not substantial enough to make a whole game around. It took him 9 years to come up with the game's most famous type. He was in his backyard gardening when he noticed some rocks and he just couldn't take his eyes off of them. Suddenly, those classic Shigeru cogs in his brain began turning, and it finally clicked. I have an idea! He immediately burst into the office and talked about his new Pikmin type idea that he just came up with. It had wings and it could fly. Winged Pikmin! When asked what other type he came up with, he got really mad and threw a rock at the employee, and the other employees really liked that idea. Shiggy Mickey did it again! Pikmin 3 is synonymous with the word easy. You so much as fart on an enemy in this game and you've committed homicide. The first Bulborb interaction is so interesting to me, because it's set up very similarly to the other games, where you've got your dwarf Bulborbs beside it in an open area with plenty of room to retreat in, and by this point you've only got about 30 potential red Pikmin in your party. In the GameCube era, this would have been an interesting battle. But this isn't the GameCube era of Pikmin, bitches! We're in the era of the Wii U now! Yay! There are so many quality of life improvements that really fuck the Bulborbs over yet again. You've got the lock-on feature, which guarantees a one-shot on the dwarfs. You've got this overgrown bundle of clovers that you can use as cover to hide from the Bulborbs, because apparently these brainlets cannot comprehend the idea of just crouching down and looking at the only spot your Pikmin could have possibly retreated to. And finally, you've got the charge mechanic. This is the straw that broke the Bulborbs' back, because gone is the consideration you had to choose between swarming and individual throwing, weighing what was the better option on the fly. Instead, you've got a button that instantly propels every single one of your Pikmin onto the target, and it just utterly decimates it. Charging from behind is always the best way to take Bulborbs down. Fuck, you don't even have to do it from behind like how the Bulborb likes it. You can just charge it onto its face and get the same result. 20 reds is enough to get the job done in one cycle. It just keeps getting worse for the Bulborb anyway. Even if this charge mechanic didn't exist, the Bulborbs have this newfound weakness to Pikmin being thrown at their eyes. So you can just stand there in place and throw Pikmin over and over, constantly stunning it, and it just can't do anything about it. It's funny to me that its weakness is being thrown at. You know, like the main mechanic that you do with your Pikmin. It's like if Goombas had a specific weakness to being jumped on. It's gotten weaker as an enemy itself. Even if he does land a bite on your squad of Pikmin, he only eats a few at a time because of the Pikmin eating limit he has to obey. The Pikmin series has always had limits with how many Pikmin enemies can eat in a single chomp, but it was always still a substantial amount, punishing you for poor play. In Pikmin 3, I don't feel punished for my mistake. I feel like I just got a slap on the wrist. On top of that, Pikmin 3 Bulborbs are so slow at eating. Pikmin 1 and 2, they just kept chowing down. They didn't care about the massive stomachache they were going to get later. Pikmin 3, they make sure to chew before they swallow. Not only that, but you can save your soon-to-be-devoured Pikmin by simply throwing out his eyeballs. That adrenaline of being able to save the Pikmin by killing the Bulborb in time no longer exists, and instead, it's just a lifeless feeling now, being able to take advantage of the weak point. What is the point of life anymore? Alf asks. Every other mechanic to discuss ultimately becomes obsolete because of how much weaker the Bulborb is now. Like talking about the new types. Overpowered purples and whites are gone, and instead replaced with rocks and wings. Rocks have a harder hitting blow when thrown, but lack the ability to latch onto an enemy. And wings are weak, but can at least carry objects over Bulborbs that aren't defeated. But both of these kind of feel redundant at the fact that like 25 of any other type can one-cycle it. So the rocks are ironically the weaker option because they can't latch on and do continuous damage. And with the wings, you could literally just have 35 instead of 25 in your squad, and a charge should still be enough to defeat it. As well as that, it feels like all Pikmin types in general are quick enough to outrun Bulborbs if you put enough on when carrying back fruit. Bomb rocks are back, and now any Pikmin can use it. They also one-shot now, and the Bulborb will do a silly little glance at it to almost guarantee it'll be blown up by it, which is good, but again, they're a rare resource, so why would you waste it on Bulborbs when you could just... Hell, you could even go with the Captain Bait strategy again, which is now even more of a good idea because you have a third captain at your disposal. Bulborbs and Pikmin 3 suck. I'm sorry, but someone had to be brave enough to say it. But it's not their fault. They are trying their best. Just look at these dimwits. You gotta love them. All of this is just a byproduct of Pikmin 3's multitasking design. Every enemy got nerfed like this, deliberately so. The game is all about strategy and micromanaging your squads. Probably the game with the most amount of Dandori in it, despite what Pikmin 4 wants you to believe. And because of that, enemies like the Bulborb had to be weaker because the intent was for you to only have a squad of like 15 Pikmin to take them down in order to maximize efficiency. Now personally, I don't like my Pikmin games to only cater to one side of the Pikmin spectrum. That spectrum being a balance of survival and Dandori. I don't want to have to spend 5 minutes fighting for my life on a single Bulborb, but I also don't want to be able to sneeze on one and kill it instantly. There's got to be a balance, and hopefully Pikmin 4 is the one to be able to find it.
Achoo! Oh!
I just feel so bad for the big guy. The one and only positive thing that makes the Bulborb stronger in this game is the removal of his eye stalk weakness. That's it. The rest of the results are not looking good for you, Mr. Bulborb. I guess we'll start with him first. This demon hellspawn is the biggest reason why my precious little Bulborbs no longer fuck, but fart. He is this almighty Pikmin being, capable of doing every single thing a Pikmin can do, and then some. Don't let his looks deceive you, he will kill you. He can carry an entire squad of 100 Pikmin right on his back, so there goes having to strategically maneuver your squad around the Bulborb during battle, when all you gotta do now is slide to the left and laugh at how absolutely this is. And with the Pikmin on top of Ochi, no, not like that, you can charge up the iconic Ochi Rush and pound into the side of the Bulborb and completely stun him for seconds. All the while, your entire squad of Pikmin are destroying his ass. No, not like that.
What the hell is wrong with you creeps?
This dog is so fucking strong, you could leave him by himself to take these guys down and let your Pikmin do their thing. The Bulborb is no longer worth the time to the Pikmin. I gotta imagine that's really sad from the perspective of the Bulborb. Your main prey doesn't even have to worry about you, because some canine can rip your spotty Bulborbs off in a single second. Even if Ochi never existed in this game, it wouldn't matter much because every other battle tactic is so overpowered now. Like the Pikmin themselves, they are the strongest they have ever been. And not like in the sense they've been taking roids and just fucking ripped now. No, more in the sense that this is the most coordinated they've ever been in the series. They are incredibly fast. Even at leaf stage, they still lag behind, but nowhere near enough to get caught by a Bulborb's attack on retreat. You tilt your player captain to the left, every single one of your Pikmin snaps right behind them in a blink of an eye. There's no real attempt to be made to coordinate the whole squad. They just do it themselves, and it makes you feel worthless as their leader. You've still got your returning features too, like the charge. Once again, it is very strong, and buffed slightly with the increased Pikmin speed. Every Pikmin type is here now! Albeit with that dreaded 3 Pikmin type limit that Miyamoto was finally able to re-implement into this game at the disapproval of literally every person on planet Earth.
I used to think you were cool.
I'm still cool.
So you've got your purple Pikmin back, and they are pretty much back to their Pikmin 2 former glory. Whites can poison enemies again, rocks are slightly stronger when you throw them, reds are still a safe bet for their damage output and are easy to propagate, and the new Pikmin. Oh, the new Pikmin. The developers really wanted to recapture the spirit of Pikmin 2 by introducing a completely broken type of Pikmin that destroys the ecosystem of the game. Would you care for a Bulborb popsicle? It's easy to make. All you gotta do is bring 10 ice Pikmin to a battle, and within a few seconds, you've got yourself a nice delicious treat on this hot sunny day in the sun-speckled terrace. It is essentially having an unlimited bitter spray. Hell, even having your ice Pikmin eaten adds to the freeze gauge, so fuck it. No matter what you do, the ice Pikmin win. It wouldn't be so bad if it was treated like purple Pikmin from 2, where they are a rare Pikmin to obtain. Pikmin 4 wants you to think that ice Pikmin are rare, but right behind its back, it's got 100 spare to give out at a moment's notice for simply breaking a pot in a cave. You don't even have to trade in your current Pikmin for them, like with Candy Pop Buds. They are just sitting there waiting to be added to your grand total of squad members. You don't get an onion for them until the 4th area of the game, but by that point, you've got more than you'll ever need gathered from caves. Ice Pikmin are a nice segue into your other methods of attack in this game. The items from Russell's item shop, because that's what Ice Pikmin feel like, an item. There are just so many tools in this game, and most don't really differ from one another utility-wise. They are all just so strong. You've got bomb rocks, ice bomb rocks, lightning strikes, krakenators, mines, ultra spicy sprays, pick carrots. The list would go on, but it stops right there. That's all of it. There's not a lot of strategy with these items too. You just throw the item at the Bulborb and let the effect take over. It's either just an instant kill, or a paralysis effect, which you then take advantage of to then insta-kill. They are very different as you can see, and they're also incredibly easy to purchase. Think about bomb rocks in its previous iterations, where they were a finite resource you had to pick and choose how to use always at a cost. You could never have your cake and eat it too. Pikmin 4.
Holy shit, 2 cakes!
You are not going to run out of raw material as long as you put a couple of Pikmin on every pile you see. So buying a boatload of bomb rocks is pretty easy. Fuck you, Mr. Bulborb! Whoops! There's one last thing to talk about with Pikmin 4 and how it destroys any fighting chance the Bulborb may have had in this game. And the reason I left it to last is because it kind of inspired this whole Schizo rant. That would be the Glow Pikmin. Glow Pikmin are obviously the Bulbmin of this game, a very hard to come by type that is immune to all hazards, though glows get the ability to morph together and form a glow bomb and stun and charge enemies all at once. It's basically Ochi without using Ochi. You can bring out as many glow Pikmin as you'd like in a cave, as long as you've gotten enough seeds during night expeditions. Now, I don't actually have a problem with the glows themselves in caves. Yeah, they decimate the Bulborbs that easily, just like anything else in this game, but it's a rare type you have to work for, so being able to do that is a reward for your efforts. What the final nail in the Bulborb's coffin is, would be the night expeditions themselves. When I was a kid, I sucked at fighting Bulborbs. They were these big looming threats, and I would get genuine anxiety whenever my Pikmin died to them, and would reset the day, prompting to only ever use Olimar as a way to beat them to death. And every night, as the SS Dolphin would launch into orbit with the Onion at tow, they would taunt me, hunting down whatever Pikmin I left behind, and devouring them in front of my eyes for the mistakes I made. It made me hate them, but more than hate, I was afraid, because Olimar would note how dangerous it would be to stay on the planet at night with all the nocturnal creatures. If I struggled to beat a sleeping Bulborb during the day, how the hell would I ever be able to take one down at night? But Pikmin 4 answered that question, and I was not happy with the answer I got. Turns out, it's really, really easy. They appear large and looming, like they always did, marching on with their big red glowing eyes that honestly look more comedic than threatening. The point is, this is where they should have been a threat. The toughest they've ever been in the series. Yet, all it takes is a single glow mob. One simple charge up, and watch as your glow Pikmin defeat this beast with ease. Charge and glow. Charge and glow. Charge and glow. And the whole time, during those night expeditions, all I could think was, why was I so scared of fighting them at night in the first place? Pikmin 4 shattered that illusion, and I'm kind of still butthurt about it, which is why I had to Schizo rant. Also completely unrelated, but I'm currently bitching and need to get it off my chest. Colin, shut the fuck up, you bitch ass motherfucker. If you start talking about PUBG one more fucking time, I'm going to pluck every individual hair on that head of yours like it's a fucking Pikmin. Okay, we're good. Beep beep, Pikmin 4 got an update. About 5 months ago. I'm sorry, I take forever to make videos. Actually, it got 2 updates because Nintendo added the ability to turn off auto-lock, but forgot to add the ability to turn off auto-lock. Pikmin 4 got a difficulty update, which I'm happy to say does boost the status of the Bulborb quite a bit. Not a whole lot, don't forget the aforementioned shit that we just discussed. But you know what? He now stands a fighting chance. Ochi is no longer an instant win button, and now you actually have to plan correctly when to use his rush attack. Old Bulby's got more health this time and has way more aggressive attack patterns. He even got a buff to his eating limit. The more Pikmin he's able to swallow, the merrier. Good job, buddy. After all this time, you finally did it. You became intimidating again. I'm so proud of you. I think the biggest takeaway from today's Schizo rant is that as the series progressed, adding new mechanics and methods of attacks, the Bulborb was pretty content staying put as it was and not evolving much. To me, why he's the strongest in Pikmin 1 is because it's the Pikmin formula at its simplest, and therefore he has a chance to shine. There's no stronger types of Pikmin that have an ability that can keep him pinned. The Pikmin themselves are also very weak between their AI and their lack of abilities like Charge that can thrust them onto an object. All you've got is the Swarm, and let's hope the Leaf Pikmin can get to the Bulborb's ass before he wakes up. There's no extra captains as bait, or a plethora of items at your disposal. All you've got are Bomb Rocks, if they choose to work that is. The Bulborb is at its simplest in this game, but so is Pikmin 1. That's why it's the strongest, because it actually has a fighting chance. Pikmin 4 could have had the strongest iteration of the Bulborb, but it still wouldn't have mattered with all its extra mechanics. Actually, scratch that, it does have the strongest Bulborb. The Jumbo Bulborb. It's awake always, large and in charge, super aggressive and always lunging for Pikmin, bite after bite after bite. But it doesn't matter, because you have a dog that can carry your whole squad and stun the guy with one charge. And with that one charge, you have all these Pikmin types that it's got no chance against. Give it a sec and the ice Pikmin will freeze it. Take a step back and throw all your purples on it and watch as the slam drains their health bar in seconds. You've got all these tools in your magic backpack that the Bulborb just has to sit there and take. It's like what I said before. I don't want my battles with the Bulborbs to be an exhausting fight taking up plenty of my time in Pikmin, but I don't want it to be brain dead and for the Bulborb to be the same as any other enemy. I just want the balance they once had to be restored. I don't know what the future holds for our funny fat polka dot friends, but I've got my fingers crossed it's a better one. I can't believe I did it, Hackney! I finally finished this Schizo rant instead of getting 70% done and then scrapping it.
Well done, you lazy piece of shit.
Fuck you! Oh. Look mate, we don't allow salespeople on our property. Read the sign.
You son of a bitch! You stole my idea! How can I be a family guy when people like you make me want to cry and only cry?
No clue.
I'm gonna beat the ever-loving crap out of you as soon as you step outside.
Okay.
Who is it? It better not be a salesperson.
No. It's Mr. Beast giving away a thing for you.
Oh, how does he know I love things so much? I better walk outside and accept what he's giving away and... Hello, are you Mr. Beast? Oh, what the fuck? Oh,